Hey, I'm back. We'll take a minute for the game capture. Okay, here we go. So yeah, just switch from Fortnite. Ooh man, well the OG season 8 ends tonight. I had so many quests I could have done. So much XP, just leaving on the table for that. But switch over to Bioshock. I don't think we're gonna finish this tonight. I could be wrong. Um, I think at most, yeah, it's gonna take 2 streams to finish this. I doubt. Oh, we'll see. I doubt I doubt we'll finish tonight, Bioshock, and I doubt tomorrow's stream, Thursday. I doubt we'll be playing Bioshock. It might be till Friday stream when we finish it, because I feel like, yeah, I mean, most of the level we're on is complete, and then there's one level beyond that. I think that's all that's left. It definitely feels like we're getting to the climax of the story. We are transforming ourselves into a Big Daddy. We're grabbing the parts, we modify our voice, different scents. So I assume the last level is you are a Big Daddy and you're going around kicking ass. That's pretty cool. Because Bioshock 2, you play as a Big Daddy. So it never occurred to me you might, like in Bioshock 2, you might be the same character, really. Actually, I don't remember the story much in Bioshock 2 other than, yeah, you're a Big Daddy. Okay, looks like here. It's like, I don't even recognize Rapture no more. I hear they've been rounding up people in Apollo Square. Oh. Just making sure everything's running. Oh shit, bad. Okay. What? Okay, yeah, so like I said, most of this we've done. Of this. And this section left. Let's see, how much? We have a lot of them left. You really can't buy much. There's so much of everything. Which way do I go? Nope. Do it this way. Exact, right? I don't know beyond this. What do we have? Expert. Maybe. See, I don't know. The expert, prolific inventor. I don't remember what those do. Sure. Good. This I don't understand. You can interact with it, but that doesn't do anything? Eat? No, okay, you can't. I was thinking maybe you interact with it and type in a number, but it's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Cool. Napalm. Okay, steel bolt. Okay. Good. Yeah, I have a feeling, yeah, I've been here. Although, they hack one or two? That is a little buddy. Wait. Yeah, there's one more Big Daddy we're gonna find. Whoa. Damn, that Big Daddy went out quick. That wasn't too bad. Aw. Rescue. No, no. Nice.
Thank you, mister. Thank you.
So, let me go back. Just want to make sure there's nothing new. I guess putting the atom on. I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, insect swarm, not a huge fan. Cyclone trap, it's just obnoxious. The sound. Inferno. I don't know if I'm even using it. Oh wait. Retreat. Reload. It's kind of cool, like my whatever this is called, these psychic abilities are unstable. You rotate through the abilities, you can try them, and it also always replenished. Which I never had to use. Never use one of those shot things. And that doesn't look good. Candidate conversion. That doesn't seem good either. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a 19-year-old game. Water effects I still really enjoy. Water effects, I've always liked. Like, you can go back to, like, shooters in the 90s. I'm always still amazed by the water effects. Even, like, okay, came out in 2007. Half-Life 2 came out, what, 2004? That has great water effects. Let's do it. Yeah, that's not another Big Daddy, that's me grunting. That's my character.
was sure the boots would be here. Shit.
Fixed. Cool. Fixed. You guys been watching World Cup lately? Ooh, I've seen Scotland playing right now. Yeah, like what's England, part of England and Ghana yesterday. I was surprised. England could not get the win. More I'm excited. Sweden plays Japan. The only one check that game out if I can. The US, I don't know who they play. I forget. But the US plays. Definitely, if I can, I'll be watching both those games, at least part of them. Machine boots.
God damn it. The Big Daddy boots need to be shipped here, not the damn it library. What kind of idiot is Ryan hiring nowadays? This kind of bullshit never happened on the Fontaine.
In the library. Where is the library? Family library, okay. Here? Is it worth the hack? To try it? Let's try it. It might be kind of hard. Let's try it. Okay. Down. Down. Do we have a... Yes, we do. Hey, it worked. Didn't get much out of screws. Good thing I didn't waste all the stuff on it. You haven't been in these rooms. Oh, whatever is in that. Cheap son of a bitch.
Fontaine's scary son of a bitch. But Ryan
Cheap son of a bitch.
You can no reuse protector suit. Take a man, graft the skin and organs straight into suit. Otherwise your suit will not work. Ryan say Big Daddy too expensive. Ryan can go suck a egg.
Eve. It's like, yeah, you might as well buy it. It's, I have the money. Okay, so what was over there? Oh. Let me check this place out.
Look around you. There's nothing to see. Rapture's a mausoleum, a goddamn cemetery funhouse.
Okay, look at me.
Just a matter of time till you realize.
Okay, oh, that's someone else from me grunting. Sounds like it's someone else.
This is where you find bodysuit.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, I want to hit that room up. The antibody suits gives you 25% resistance to all damage. Damn, okay.
That is good. We will make disgusting Frankenstein out of you yet. There is
Nice.
helmet, one pair of boots, and we will be, how you say, in the business.
Business, that's how I say it. Okay, this room, I think? Can we put this in UV? I can't get up. The big daddies look the little sisters, just like instinctively. I hear someone. Get that big daddy. Sister's not like messing with me. Yeah, if he gets there, I could set the whole thing on fire. Right? Dead. I still love how you can on fire. And you can sorry. But even though it's on fire, you can still loot them without taking damage. What? How did he kill you guys? Did I? I thought I was here.
If I were you, kid, ain't nothing here for you but tears.
Death. Nice. Okay. Okay.
Ah, look at you. You look just the same as those. Oh, what things we have done. What things. Now the
The boots. Ooh. Hacker's Delight. Please. Nice. It's a little bit. I don't know, like it's a little bit like, okay. Constricting? Restricting? Blaster public? See, just like that, I'm maxed out of money. It just then also can just loot his corpse. Move. Okay, there's that room I still want to hit up. About that. Yeah, oh, burn through my, whoops. Burn through my ammo, damn quick.
Andrew Ryan reminds us we all make choices, but in the end, our choices.
I'll hack, but I have enough. Oh, actually it wasn't too bad. Actually I didn't need to. Okay, there wasn't anything special here. I absolutely needed. this do anything? Sneaky. No. How do I get up there? Oh, stairs, right?
Terrible thing. Japanese kill every man in my city, except for Suchong. Suchong have opium. Very good opium. This war, terrible thing too, but not for Suchong. Everyone's scared now. Everyone need Adam. More than little sisters can make. Good news is war makes lots of corpses. Suchong knows a way to recycle Adam from corpses, but can't send a little sister out to street unprotected. Suchong must think on this.
Alright, yeah, alright. All he needs is boots, I think. Whoa. You're dead. Let me go back and loot. Not that I, you know, really need anything. What? Someone's shooting at me. Whatever. Okay, the other Big Daddies. There's a handful of little sisters, so I assume it's... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to waste those kind of waste, right?
I swore an oath to do no harm,
Yeah.
and I've got it fucking everything!
Yeah, I don't know if they reload or they, you know what. Could use the money. Oh, I did grab. No, I grabbed the money. I couldn't take the test tubes. Okay. Okay. Money. Bit of money. I like money, guys. I like money.
Oh, I like money.
Yeah.
I like money, though. I like money. I like money.
I like money.
Can't believe you like money, too.
Okay, so imagine I just go wherever the boots are. Okay, where do I go for this? The library, I think, right? I think that's where they said the boots are. No. Don't get a little turret. Looks like it is this way. That's it, right? Just I don't know. Close. Are you hacked? Are you friendly? Nice research. I'm not using it. Oats.
Yes. Now this is a big daddy. Are you ready? Now go to the little sister
Yes.
vent by the proving grounds.
I've got Rapture now. I've got the Atom now. You think that tin suit's even half enough to put the spear in me?
Okay. Return to proving grounds. Okay. I'm just thinking what time it is.
Where you gonna go? Your life, your family? They're a fairy tale, kid. No more real than something you read about in the Saturday Evening Post. Poor bastard. A motherless freak, whipped up in a half-baked science experiment.
You need to bring them out of hiding, and then they'll let you in the door. Go on, hit the vent with your wrench. Und bitte. It would mean very much to me if you will be gentle with the girls. Ein kleines Mädchen.
What do you mean I don't shoot him? Okay. Babe. What happens if I do shoot him? Can you shoot him? We'll find out. Okay. Just checking, I guess, right? Proving grounds.
The little ones will lead you to Fontaine,
Don't be a
but you
slowpoke,
mustn't
Mr.
protect
B.
them.
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Okay. Oh. What's this new area? It is, right? Yeah. Save.
Time to go, Mr. B.
That's it, kid. It's been a long road.
This definitely feels like it's the last level.
Put you on a sub when you were just a sprout.
I'm almost debating not doing this right now. Saving for another stream. So it's not like, oh, okay, I have like a half hour another stream to do this.
Hurry, Mr. B. I can see angels
Mr. D.
dancing in the sky.
Event don't need or can't get one.
Hurry, Mr. B.
Yeah, what is it?
Shows you what your buddy knows. Open to Genetic Horizons for a trial impression.
We are good. Cart. Carte. I don't know. What the? Hey, good. Oh, Dead Boy. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what Dead Voice was. Okay. I really don't know how it feels like this is the last level. I'm close. I actually don't want to finish it tonight because I think I have like 1 more hour left. Or should end. Second. No, no, that makes me nervous every time. Okay. I'm quite sure the game was gonna come back. Are those valid? I guess so? Where are we? Okay. I guess I might ride the big daddies now. But typically see other big daddies shouldn't attack you, right? In theory. You seem to basically become a big daddy. Yeah, this is very curious. I wonder if like Bioshock 2 is like directly like this leads directly in Bioshock 2. Yeah, I played and beat Bioshock 2. I've never got this far. Bioshock 1.
Hurry, Mr. B. I can see the angels dancing in the sky.
I really wound you up with that wife and child bit. Oh, me poor Moira. I me wee baby Patrick. Maybe one day I'll get me a real family. They play well with the suckers.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B.
Only the little ones can open these doors. You must protect them.
You literally are just the big daddy now. You gotta protect the little sisters.
Hurry, Mr. Bubbles. Hop, hop, Mr. B.
Or is
No
it?
time to waste. Time to go, Mr. B. Oh, Mr. B.
Look at them.
We hit the jackpot.
Even though they are physically freer than you
No
together,
time to waste.
Su Chung's mental conditioning still holds them to their terrible past. For sins such as this, you can never atone.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels
I wonder, like, if you've been harvesting little sisters this entire time, does this play out different? Wait, run away. Nope.
Mr. B, I can see the angels dancing in the sky. Hurry, Mr. B. Angels is
Damn. Damn.
Hurry, Mr. B.
Didn't it just reload?
I can see the angels dancing in the sky. Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes. Hurry, Mr. B. Angels are waiting. Time to go, Mr. B.
Yep, yep, I got it.
Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
I'll tell you, Mr. Bubbles.
Watch out! For
Mr.
certain
B.
their habit
No
to
time to
draw the
waste.
attention of this flight.
I Adam, Mr. B.
Ooh, I knew about that. Shit.
Hurry, Mr. B. I can see the angels dancing in the sky. It's special. 6 times 2 is lemon. It looks sad, Mr. B. Hurry, Mr. B. Waiting. Adam, Mr. B. Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles. Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
Okay. Do a giant. Let's do it. Actually, that's not too bad. Okay, how do we get up? Boom. Boom. And I need it over. I need one more that way. Ooh, got it. Nice. Look for us for a change.
Time to go, Mr. B.
What? What? Save, save. Give me like 30 seconds. back. Yeah, usually I take like massively long breaks. That was yeah.
Hurry, Mr. B. Angels are waiting
Oh,
for
is he friendly? Let's find out.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpoke.
I don't know. I mean, I might like. I might be racist tonight.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for
Sorry.
slowpokes.
I don't like it. That's mine now.
Mr. B. No time to waste.
What are we doing? Oh.
Hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
Excuse me. He is crushed. I mean, okay, one is hacked. I could meet
Hurry, Mr. B. I
ATO.
can see the angel dancing in the sky.
Yeah, but nice if I kept it because I feel like there might be a fight in this room. Well, I don't know. Like maybe on the way back there's a fight, or I can draw the main boss back here or something. I don't know.
Dancing in the sky.
Oh,
Hurry, Mr. B. Angels are waiting for us. Time to go, Mr. B.
uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Let's hack it. We can fight for us. He fights for the users.
Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
Mr. Bubbles.
Don't be a
Crap,
slowpoke, Mr. B.
people.
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
One second. I gotta. Nope. Oh, actually, no, I don't. It's also streaming on YouTube right now, so it's copyrighted music. I was gonna play the crab rave.
Hurry! The harvesting will draw the attention of the splicers.
Worth it? That's fine. Oh, just, oh, over. Oh my god, up? No. No. Oh no. Shit, ooh, I'm missing the one piece. Damn it, I can't do it. Oh no, how do I do this? How do I do this? Too late, shit. Fuck. Nope. Fuck. Maybe if I had that open, like, open. Just whack him.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes. Time to go, Mr. B.
Long arms.
Hurry, Mr. B.
Oh. He is not friendly. Can I just whack him? Yes, but. Then I'm stuck. Oh, that's that. Look out. Jeez.
Better for the girl to be with you. Better with you than alone. Alone in the crawling darkness.
Hurry, Mr. Bubbles. Hurry, Mr. B. I can see an angel dancing in the sky.
That might be plenty for the working scrubs and the pencil pushers, but I need more. More! I want
More.
to splice till there ain't nothing left to splice with!
He's going full crazy.
Fontaine is nearby. You are reaching close now.
Yes, yep. This is like an impulse thing when they give you everything.
There. You must use the needle of the little sister to drain Fontaine of his Adam. It is the only way to defeat him.
Yeah, one second, let me see. Yeah. Everything I need. Event. Like cool. Thing set. Take this hypo. Okay. Oh, nice. We are good. Stick in a bad man. Gotta loot everything first. This feels like it, yeah. We're pretty much at the end. Nope.
What are you waiting for? Pick up the needle.
Fontaine waits above. There will be no going back from here. Make sure you are ready to face him before moving on.
As ready as I'm gonna be. Waiting, got everything there. Got it. That's why I waited. I feel like there's gonna be more health upgrades. No. Yeah. I'm as good as it's gonna get. Hard save. Signal.
At my signal.
Unleash hell. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub. You were no more than 2.
face in the hole.
No media chambers nearby.
But
If you
you
die, was
also
babe
the
progress. That's
closest
what I
thing
saved. Yep.
I ever had
Wow.
to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Oh shit. Okay. Nice that the game saves right there. Oh shit. Is that Fontaine? He's not human anymore? Or is it, oh, he's just connected to machines, right?
Go! Go now! Hit him with the needle!
Oh shit. Okay, I'm coming.
Catch my breath. And I'm gonna bury you now.
Yeah, there's not a beautiful time, I guess. Really?
You think I'm alone? I got more than enough bugs to watch my back while I recharge. Good money for you. This is what I get.
Oh shit. You don't want me to try it? I'm hoping.
Need a minute. Then I'm gonna cut you into bits. I had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I know what is. And now,
Girl, let's go. Let's go. Oh yeah, the organ. Let's go. Yeah. Nice. He's still here. Little Sister Savior. Okay, so there's the good ending.
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love.
Are they not? So they're not.
To live.
So they're all just in the regular world now?
And since the end, what was your reward?
Aw.
You never said. But I think I know.
Aw. That's cute.
A family.
Wow. That's pretty cool. definitely that was the good ending. I wonder how it basically harvest them all. Like, do I look up the answer? Or do I like use that as excuse to play this again at some point? Yeah, never saw that. Never saw the end. Didn't know that he became the Big Daddy. That was really cool. Can't believe you've seen this. The ending. Nine by 6. I mean, I did play an easy. So the end boss fight was the pushover. That was nothing. Right amount of light. It just seems like it ends suddenly in a way. I don't know, like what more I expected out of it. Like a little bit more of a cutscene or something. I don't know if it really needed. You know, did it really need any more explanation at that point? Yeah, I'm really curious how if you sacrifice them. How it turns out. Maybe you stay down in Rapture and you control the place now or something. But yeah, oh my god, all the mechanics are cool, the plot twists are cool, the would you kindly, you know, you think Andrew Ryan is the main bad guy. He is for a bit. But then he dies, you kill him while under the spell of would you kindly. And it's really Fontaine, who you think is Alice. Well fleshed out world. Yeah, that's really cool. You know, like really interesting. We listen to all the audio. You know, they really explain a lot. Yeah, I definitely understand why a lot of people really love Bioshock. What I don't understand always connects to System Shock. Somehow it's the same universe technically, or something. Maybe it's just like, you know, it's the same creator, so it's like they kind of say it's the same universe, but is it really? You know, once in like the System Shock 3 or something, they kind of reference Rapture or something. Yeah, that was really cool. I don't know what possessed me to play Bioshock, but I'm glad I did. And I'm thinking we're gonna, not tonight, I'm definitely thinking we're gonna have to do Bioshock 2 in the near future. Well, it's kind of, yeah, maybe more of the same. And do Bioshock Infinite. Instead of underwater, they're in the sky, I guess. I am thinking. No, I might do maybe round or two Fortnite. No, Fortnite for round or two. I did not expect to beat this tonight. I beat the last level at least another hour. That was cool though. Yeah, let me switch back to Fortnite for a round or two. And then we'll be calling out night. Oh, actually, before we do that, Church's commentary.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock, Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, they wondered, how did
Is the audio? How's the audio? Is it kind of low?
And I know you've said publicly before that part of the reason you sort of, what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you had with other games where you sort of hit a bound.
I think our philosophy was always to
Creative Director, System Shock 2, Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite. Damn, okay.
And do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, and this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So we were able to really make a place, I think, that felt believable and real, even though in actuality it was really quite limited. But we just sort of dressed it with all these buildings outside that were all, basically glorified fakes. We let the story drive what we needed to show rather than some kind of like predetermined map which we sat down, which is a little different than like System Shock 2, where we actually mapped a spaceship out deck by deck.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the philosophy felt a little different there, because you want to feel like a real spaceship that was sort of stacked on top of each other. Rapture was free to sprawl across the ocean floor.
Although you guys originally, Sean, were talking about doing this game on a sort of spaceship again, right?
Yeah, when we first started talking about what the spiritual successor to System Shock 2 was going to be, Spaceship came up, but again, we wanted a limited environment. We didn't necessarily want to do Spaceship again. And our first actual exploration of this space was underwater, but ultimately ended up looking like a spaceship. It just happened to have a couple of seaweed fronds outside. And that started to push us towards what artistic statement that we wanted to make this look different, and what rules we were going to set for the world. How at every turn we were going to try to remind the player that they were in fact underwater and that this wasn't a spaceship.
And how, like, underwater, we obviously know you did underwater, then sitting in the sky, like where did you come with the idea of like doing this underwater?
I think there was probably a conversation. It's like, well, what kind of places could be cut off from other places?
Yeah.
Like, well, spaceship, summer camp, any island notion, right? Something that's cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you never felt like you should be able to go over that bridge to New Jersey.
I don't want to apply some deep and meaningful conversation. I think it was one of those ideas that you just kind of say, and then everybody's, that sounds cool. Let's try that. Let's go for it.
And I think it lended itself to having very nice views out the window without having to build an insane amount of unique assets.
Right.
By today's standards, we still were a small team back then. And there's an expectation that because you're underwater, the view distances are going to be short, so you can really kind of fade out into the fog at a short distance and not have the expectation that, why can't I see forever? So there's a lot of limitations in a good way that we put on ourselves by being underwater, as opposed to like if you're on a cruise ship, then you'd expect to see across the water and we'd have to deal with that. Same thing with an island.
Or
and
a city in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a lot more complicated, yeah.
So you came up with the idea of let's do this underwater, let's do this sort of isolated place. Then you had to answer the question of, why would someone build this? Is that sort of how it worked, sort of order of operations? You then had to come up with a story to explain?
Yeah, I think we wanted a very believable reason why they'd be there. And sort of the necessary isolation of the place sort of led to, well, what kind of person would want to do this? And I wasn't even particularly aware of the sort of political implications of what I was reading, but I've been reading, I had read The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, and I mostly thought it was an interesting story. Like, I didn't realize that people were sort of basing their sort of political lives around it, because I wasn't that tuned in to that stuff at that point. And so, but I love the dialogue and the kind of speechifying in it, because you can see a video game character speaking with that kind of certainty and that kind of confident philosophy. It just seemed like a natural kind of thing to apply to this place. And so it just sort of all came together as a sort of who is the guy who would do this? Well, you know, that character. It was sort of this amalgamation of characters from Ayn Rand's books and Ayn Rand herself. This sort of idealistic person who says, well, the only way to do this is to separate from the rest of the world. And that led to Andrew Ryan.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone.
We knew from a technical standpoint that we wanted isolation. We also knew to sell it, we needed a compelling storyline, a backstory that why would this place exist? Otherwise, how are we going to make Rapture feel like it's lived in if we don't have the reason for it to be there? So once we decided on the underwater location,
I think they decided, okay, we want to do an underwater location first, and then they built a story around it to explain it. They didn't have the story first.
And I think that's why we had to have sort of Andrew Ryan's pitch right at the beginning of the game. We wanted people to understand why somebody would go there. And so he makes this very personal one-to-one pitch to the gamer, but also that was the pitch he'd make to people, which was, you know, there's a place that you can be free of all these things, where you can not be sort of put upon by the government and not be afraid of nuclear war and not be afraid of all these other things that will plague you on the surface. We wanted that pitch to sort of resonate and make sense, because that's otherwise by the time you got there you'd be like, well, this place is just fantasy, nobody would ever come here. And that the beauty of the place also was also tied into that. It had to be a very attractive proposition, or people who would believe that people would go leave their lives and go to the bottom of the ocean.
I'm sure in some ways you had to convince the team and enroll them in your sort of vision of, you know, who this character was going to be and what the setting was going to be. How did that work, Sean? I mean, did Ken come in and say, hey, I've been reading these books, and I think we could sort of...
I believe he just came in one day on a horse and said...
On a horse.
And ran. Everybody read The Fountainhead.
Exactly. I bought 30 copies of The Fountainhead.
I think, you
here's
know...
Here's a 2,000-page book or something.
Yeah.
Go read it.
And it really is more
2,000 pages, damn. Okay.
Like I said, we knew that we had...
How big is like War and Peace?
And you struggle to fill it with stories, and you struggle to find meaning of why does this place exist, you know? What's my motivation? And as Ken started to explore Ayn Rand a little more and started talking to us about it, and we were having that conversation, and it's like, oh, this could totally work. Like, this is exciting. Like, this is something that really hasn't been done in a video game before. And if we had flipped it and come up with the idea first before the location, I don't think we would have really been that excited about it. But we had a location, and now we're trying to fill it with that story. And because of the order of operation there, you start to get excited, like, oh, I could totally make this work. This is going to really make it feel like a lived-in space.
You know, as you think of sort of the setting, and you think of maybe a character or something, was there a moment that you think back, it's like, oh, like right then and there, like I got excited when you attached the Ayn Rand
For me,
stuff
it was going to Rockefeller Center and seeing the visual. So I told this story before, but my wife and I were in New York, and we went to Rockefeller Center, which was, if you go to Rockefeller Center, it basically looks exactly like Rapture. It's because every building, you're sort of encircled. It's this block in New York, or a couple of blocks in New York, where Radio City Music Hall is, and where 30 Rockefeller Plaza is, where you see that show 30 Rock, and the ice skating rink, and where they put the Christmas tree. And it's this very iconic location, but what's cool about it, it's all one, unlike the rest of the city. Everywhere you look, it's one architectural style. It's Art Deco. And it's very iconic Art Deco. And my wife and I were there, and we were sort of working on the game, and we didn't have a visual style. And all of a sudden, I started looking around, and I said, "Oh, this could be a visual for the game." Also, the geometry of it was actually quite conducive to making a video game because it wasn't overly complicated geometry. Art Deco is quite
bold and simple,
bold and geometric, yeah, and simple. And so my wife and I bought a couple of tourist cameras before iPhone cameras,
exactly.
you know.
Throwaway cameras,
Yeah, throwaway cameras with little Kodak things, and we just started photographing doorknobs and light fixtures, and just sort of developed the photos. Remember that? Brought them in and said,
"Come to the office. Here's a stack of stuff.
Here's a stack of photos.
Take a look.
I'll see you guys in a couple of years. Go make this."
City where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, rapture can become your city as well.
So you had kind of a theme, you came up with an art style, some of the iconic characters, and then you really had to build the narrative around it. And you've talked about a lot of the themes in the game, and greed, jealousy, sex, violence, all the things that sort of drive us or what destroy us. And that was something I think that as you thought about the story of the game, you wanted to, I'm sure, reflect some of those, right? Because I think people love the characters that sort of flawed in a way, and this is a world which is its own little microcosm, but had a lot of tension inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, the character Ryan was sort of, he's basically invisible through most of the game, right? Except for a very small portion. But he's very present because he exists, the city is him, right? It's such a representation of him. We never wanted to cut away to a cutscene where you saw Andrew Ryan, planning and scheming. We wanted him to be very present without actually being present. But once you had Ryan, once you had his desire to protect this vision of his, you just had to then come up with the characters who'd be arrayed in opposition to him. So we had this character, the Big Daddy, and then eventually the character, the Little Sister. And so characters like Tenenbaum came along, like, here's a person who's in opposition to him for this reason. And then you have, for more noble reasons. And then you have a character like Atlas, who's much more cynical opposition. Once we had all those characters arrayed, we're like, well, who are you? And, you ended up being a sort of, a pawn in the middle of all this opposition to Ryan. We just kept sort of homing in on that theme and making sure that you weren't, eventually figuring out that you couldn't just be here by an accident, that you're an integral part of this story, even though you don't know you're an integral part of this story. You think you're just there by happenstance.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel.
Bubbles.
I can see light coming from his belly.
Wait, what?
He's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
Oh, damn, I don't know these. Creative process, kill switch? Oh, I can. Creative process.
The perfect marriage of story to gameplay is a science that many developers still struggle with today. Bioshock has left an indelible mark on gaming narrative that can be seen and felt in many modern releases, but Irrational's motto remained from the beginning: don't start with the story, start with the gameplay. A lot of fans probably wonder about the process you go through in writing the story and the design for a game like Bioshock. You've talked about how it evolves over time, and what eventually ships is very different than your initial vision. Do you guys write like a script or a design document for the game, and that becomes sort of the Bible that everyone drives towards, or do you iterate much more?
It's different for every game. Like System Shock 2, I went back to it recently. I wrote a design document, and we started that project in September, and the design document I saw was dated like October or something. So in a month, I wrote the design document, and it didn't change. A lot of it, got expanded upon, but the basic design really didn't change on that. Where on Bioshock, I think it evolved in real time much more. We had a pretty substantial design shift like a year before the ship date.
For Bioshock?
Bioshock, yeah. It got to be much more about the experience of being in Rapture than about being in your character sheet. And so the game evolved more towards that experiential kind of thing and making sure every idea was expressed in the world as well as just on your character sheet. So before you'd have a lot of things like, oh, I'm doing fire damage or electrical damage, but that was sort of a number flying off a head versus, the whole notion of like, there's barrels and you light them on fire and then you can pick them up and throw them.
But you'd have stats coming off characters and all that stuff?
Much more so.
Oh, really?
And that evolved, sort of, we did a design ship, but I don't know how well that got documented. I think we were moving so fast that we were just sort of changing things, laying down the tracks as we went right ahead of us. And the same with the screenplay, the screenplay. The screenplay there is no screenplay. It's a bunch of, probably Excel files and fragments of Word documents that I'd write, and I'd go to recording sessions and I'd rewrite on the fly once I hear the actor perform, because once the actor takes on it, you listen to their voice and you say, what you wrote doesn't really matter. Like, what is the right thing for this actor playing this role to be saying? So I tend to do a lot of rewriting in the session. And then like you have a bug late at night where somebody says, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And you're like, oh God, and you have to write a new audio log and try to get the actor back in. Or you figure out what's the best way to get this idea across. Yeah. And is it an audio log? Is it a poster on the wall? Is it a piece of text that pops up on the screen? That's always dependent on how much time you have and what actor availability is. So, the plans sort of fall apart. I think we've worked on that a bunch since on the new project we're working on, where we are trying to document things a lot better and keep things a lot more logical. But the train was running so fast on Bioshock that we just sort of.
Early on, we got the Andrew Ryan scene in, like we'd said before, and that was kind of like the keystone. Like, we're going to put a lot of work into this, so this can't change. Everything that happens before or after that don't really involve a lot of departments working together to make a scene, those things are very malleable. And if you need to change audio logs to represent a story, if you need to add lines or take away lines, that's very doable. And I think for a while we even had like text to speech.
We even did that I remember for Infinite with Booker and Elizabeth and all their dialogue, and that really didn't work very well because you'd have these dramatic scenes and it'd be like, Elizabeth, we need to go to Comstock, and it just almost had no value as far as I was concerned.
Atlas radio on ahead says you were looking for an invite to the fisheries. Nuts, I say. But if your heads up to the Wharf Master's office and find old Peach on research camera, maybe I could manage an invite.
Ken has so much of, these games in his head, and you're sort of, you can keep it all straight, or try to, with all the different things and changes. But from the team perspective, Sean, because this is evolving and Ken's thinking in his head about how this all ties together, how does the team sort of keep up with, what the whole game's going to look like?
There's a lot of specifics that can change. For instance, Atlas used to have a Southern drawl.
Right.
And then, we recast to the Irish.
And we actually cast an actor, wrote the lines, did the whole thing, and realized that people hated that character and distrusted him from the first start. So we had to rewrite him, recast him, redo everything.
Yeah. From a team perspective, you kind of get a sense on which things are going to be really volatile and that you probably want to push off till later, because if you work on it now, it might change. Larger themes don't tend to change too much, meaning we knew we were in Rapture, we knew we had Big Daddies, we knew we had Little Sisters, we knew we had Splicers, we knew what the arc of the story was about Jack coming into Rapture, and the specifics of this radio log versus that radio log didn't really affect anyone outside the audio team at that time, because we could still build the environment. We still knew what the environment was. We still knew what the animations were. There are areas you learn just by working in the same space for a while that this scene, I'm not touching this yet because I know that it's going to get changed a lot. I think these themes are pretty nailed down, so I'm going to focus the team on getting these things done.
I won't leave you twisting in the wind. We're gonna need to draw out of hiding, but you're gonna have to trust me.
The audio logs were, a great part of the game, and something that if you're a true fan, people really go in and listen to those and piece that all together. But I imagine there's a lot of work that goes into deciding, this is better for an audio log versus game dialogue, and there's the act of sort of cutting back and sort of saying, we need to be clear about what the narrative is for the game. What was that process like? The audio logs, were there things you added at the end, or were those, ideas that you had for the game, but then said, hey, maybe we'd demote these a little bit and make them audio logs?
As Sean was saying, there's sort of a hierarchy of expense that you have to face, and so any ideas you have to get across, especially as you start playing the game, you realize, well, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. You have to figure out how you can introduce that idea. And generally, as the train is moving, you try to think of cheaper and cheaper ways to get those ideas across. If it's less important, it goes to an audio log. If it's less important, it goes to a poster on the wall.
Well, there's also characters that you can bring in that have audio logs that aren't, Atlas, Tenenbaum, those are your big ones. You can bring in somebody to do a short, a few different audio logs. It's a character that some players may not even find, but it adds a little bit of depth to Rapture.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's some like very, very minor characters, but it kind of helps flesh out the world for sure.
About a certain idea, and we don't just sort of come up with characters, like we have an idea problem that we need to solve, and so let's introduce a character who's this guy, and he will be the guy who sort of shepherds you through that idea.
Julie, my dear, I am trying to run a business here. You want to spend time with my honeybees? Well, I'm gonna have to start charging you for the pleasure. If I come out one more time and find you lolling out there amongst my hives, I'm grabbing my shotgun. As to your question, yes, my days in beekeeping school are a blur. But I do seem to remember something about that enzyme you keep blabbing on about.
So as you're going through the game and, writing things, rewriting things, were there things with the original Bioshock that you've always been surprised that more people didn't pick up on, or was there something that, a connection to a character you thought was really going to resonate with people, which, didn't? Anything like that?
No, it's the opposite. I was amazed, I don't know how you felt, but I was amazed how many people connected to the Would You Kindly stuff. Because I think it was when I wrote that speech, I don't think anybody on the team was like, oh my God, this is like really this or that. And I don't think I really had any sense that people were going to connect to it. I think we ended up sort of over time finding more ways to support the notion throughout the game.
Yep.
And I don't think I really, until I heard Pat put together the revelation moment, where it's like, where you had all the bits that Atlas had said to you in the past building up, and then there was a visual that went along with that. That's when I realized it was going to be a really powerful moment. But even so, I still did I think people were really going to connect to it or really even understand it? Because it's pretty out there. And that it was meta commentary too. I think that completely, I thought like, oh, it's kind of meta, cool. But people connected to it in a much bigger way.
Yeah, the choice and everything, and also just, being able to kind of roll back and think of all those other moments throughout the game. And so, a great revelation like that, they're few and far between in games where you sort of like, then you want to play it again, you're just like, oh wow, really, that does all make sense, right?
Yeah, I think as a team, we were definitely proud.
Yeah, that's a really cool aspect of the game.
At that point, SWAT 4 was the biggest game that we worked on, and we had no expectation of that anybody would pick this up. Or even like Bioshock cosplay. I remember the first
I would never consider that Bioshock cosplay.
Daddy suit, and his little daughter was in the kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, I've never seen videos of
know this stuff. That's insane.
Yeah,
Dragon Con, like years ago, people dressed up like that.
I mean, that sort of went crazy with Infinite, with people cosplaying Elizabeth and Luteces and Booker. It meant a lot to people, and I don't think that's something we ever saw coming, and we're deeply grateful for it, because it's one thing to make a game and get good reviews and stuff like that. It's another thing to have things that people are having their weddings themed around it, and their tattoos and naming their children after characters. You can't plan for that, and I think the only way that could happen is if you just make something that you're deeply in love with and passionate about. I can say we were. It was something there's a lot of passion on the team about, but we didn't know people were gonna take away what they did.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly?
This scene seems like they did finished early on. Maybe not all these flashbacks, but
Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Part of the challenge with that, though, is when people love fiction so much and they dive into, every word written in every audio log and try and connect all the fiction, make sure it all makes sense. Are there any things from that game that you sort of look back and it's like, oh, wow, like we didn't explain this and we should have, or things that fans have misinterpreted over the years?
There are things we think that we did that should have or shouldn't have been in the game. Like I was never a fan of having two endings, and I think
that's what the publisher was asking you to sort of have a.
That was the one thing that 2K, and they were very hands off That was the one thing they insisted on, and it's not something I really thought was a good idea because they're still limited, even though they're multiple. They're still limited, and so that was something that we ended up doing. One of the endings was far better than the other one. I mean, there's no. It's clear that I was much more interested in the happier ending with the little sister
Well,
the nuclear submarine
that was,
ending.
I'm sure part of it was
nuclear submarine. I mean,
this game is if you're making a choice throughout it. I'm sure when some old people are like, oh well, then it has to be a payoff, right?
Right. Except the game was really about lack
There
of
was no
choice.
choice. Yeah,
About
right,
not being
yeah.
a choice. So
Yeah.
that always struck me as a tension.
That is kind of interesting.
They were putting up a lot of money, and so
The whole point is you lack a choice because would you kindly, but then it's like, oh, would you save the sisters? You know.
But that's a game that I wouldn't have put the boss battle in, the final boss battle. Like we seem to end up doing that over and over and over again. Every time we start a project, I'm like, I'm never going to do that again. We're never going to do that again, and we end up doing it.
Right.
We're not good at boss battles, and that you're fighting that guy, and look, this is the naked dude. It just doesn't work.
Totally makes sense.
But
I think it's
and
fun.
it works really pretty well up till then, but then it doesn't. It just doesn't work. That boss battle's silly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I didn't expect him to be this like monster. You know. What I mean? Maybe we'll watch one more. I'll call it for the night.
To kill, excuse me, to harvest or not to harvest, the moral dilemma that follows you throughout the Bioshock experience and defines the fate of the player. This choice lays at the center of your Bioshock story and has repercussions that can be felt in nearly every facet of the gameplay.
Yeah, it is kind of weird though because it's like you have no choice because the would you kindly, but you do have a choice.
And this moral choice that presented itself to the player, everyone became water cooler conversation about like, well, did you save them? Did you harvest them? That concept, Ken, was that something that came about early in development, or that binary choice? When did that come into the game?
I don't even remember when. I mean, we had the concept of them being protected, but I can't remember when you actually
certainly
chose.
wasn't. When there were slugs, it was not meaningful. I think there was.
Do you salt it? Do you not salt it?
Yeah. There were resources that you could get, but there was no choice there, right? The choice was, do I want to fight the Big Daddy or not?
Yeah.
I think once we got into the realm of they have to be empathetic, the player has to have some feeling towards them, which you're not going to get from slugs.
Right.
Then we start seeing that opportunity there of like, okay, nobody's going to want to do harm to these girls, or do they? Like, and do we allow them to? It was we weren't comfortable with it at first when it first came up that we could.
I think it was important that it was a way to reflect the sort of larger economic questions of a world like Rapture, where where the economy drives everything. Are there any limits to economic decision making versus moral decision making? Because that's sort of what the Randian notion is that it's not the role that you don't sort of legislate morality. Let's try to take that to an extreme and see where that ends up. And Little Sister sort of became that. And in this world, they became a commodity. And the question we have for the player is, are you willing, they're a commodity to you as well, potentially. Do you want to participate in the commodification? There was, I think, a fair amount of nervousness internally at the publisher about it for a little while, but pretty quickly they were able to sort of say, look, we trust you guys, and go, do this. And I only had a few, the press, and this sort of happens over and over again. The games press worried a ton about it and wring their hands about it. They ever recognized it was a setting topic, but that it was done to a larger purpose. That it wasn't just sort of like, hey, this is the game where you kill children. And
whatever, and that was a sensitivity. I know that like you guys wanted to call them little sisters, not little girls, and it was it wasn't it wasn't killing them, it was harvesting them. And I mean, you did some things probably on purpose, right, to sort of explain that this you weren't doing anything vicious to them, right?
Well, I mean, you do sort of. They do sort of disappear out of you, and a big slug out of their belly, comes up. That we didn't want that to be graphic. We wanted to be very clear that you were killing them.
Right.
Yeah. But it was not intended to be a prurient in terms of hey, let's, this is a simulation of pulling a sea slug out of a little girl's belly. But we wanted you to understand that you were making a very diabolical moral economic pact there. And we think that came across, and I think it came across well enough. And I think the test of how well it came across is, I think most people didn't really thought of it as am I willing to do this thing or not?
Right.
And people would tell us stories how like their girlfriend saw them harvesting, and then they literally slept on the couch that night.
Right.
and that's an interesting, that was interesting how people connected to a 3D mesh that's really no different than any other 3D mesh in the world. Like this little sister, she's not a person. She's a 3D asset, a virtual 3D asset, right? That has a voice actor connected to it who's an adult woman, and nobody was actually getting harmed, but people still emotionally connected to them and made an emotional connection.
And also, I think when you're playing, you don't really know what the impact of that choice is.
Yes.
And that's sort of the curiosity of like, you're a gamer, so it's like, am I going to game the system? Which one should I pick? How does this impact things as you go through the game?
It's more of like a moral choice.
What that choice is going to lead to.
Yes, but it's also like
ambiguousness of that was something you wanted to sort of.
You have to weigh the decisions, like, oh, you get more Adam here.
We went back and forth a lot.
It's a game decision because it is a game.
Harvesting versus saving would be, and actually, I think we should have really pushed further that the rewards for saving were should have been much more meager than the rewards for harvesting. Just to really
it seemed like it was equal.
Push you up against the wall and say, are you going to stick by your moral guns here? Because you're going to pay for it. Because that's usually the way life is, right? It's always harder to take a moral path than it is to take an amoral path. But there's incentives to take amoral paths because it's the easier path.
As you play through the game, eventually you get to the ending, and as we know now, there were sort of two endings that were affected by that choice, and that was something at the time. I know you said publicly that you weren't in favor of sort of having two endings. Was that in part because the game is about not having choice, or did you think that the two endings were? I don't know. Like, I'm interested for narratively, like why you didn't want to go that path.
It seemed forced, given that the game really sort of almost made a joke, a meta commentary joke about the lack of agency in games, the lack of meaning of those choices, given that you have these two endings. I guess you could make an argument that, well, you were free, you were given choice of once Ryan's dead, and that's really what it's about. But I think we also didn't really have enough time to execute on those super well. I was pretty happy with how the happier one came out, with the sort of little sister focus, but it's a much more subtle story than I would have time to tell about your slow descent into, moral chaos and dissolute living and all the things that sort of come along with a life that is sort of separate from a moral structure. It's a long story.
And so, you were just switching a cutscene. It wasn't like you were doing sort of a whole other level that was different or something. So the choice was
there's two cutscenes with very tight time and economic
or just start a nuclear war.
Yes, and that's not
you're a nice guy, or you start a nuclear war.
And because we had so many problems on our plate, that was something I had to sort of do in the spare time. So I was pretty happy with one, but not very happy with the other.
I know
Really, that kind of seems like a lame ending.
Sort of more ambiguous ending that you had originally planned, or what would you have done?
There was a notion of an ambiguous ending, which if I just wrote one, I would have found a way that would just talk about the moral ambiguity of the world rather than the sort of, positive or negative, because it is such a look. I think we really tried with Bioshock not to sort of make a game about good and evil. It's really about circumstances and what circumstances lead people to. And how they delude themselves with ideology to do things that they would think are evil, but it's okay because it's for the good cause. And that's what I probably would have. If I just had one to write, I'd probably focus more on that. How difficult it is to sort of align when you start being driven by ideology rather than being in the moment and thinking about the impact of what you're doing.
Sean, you talked to gamers, I'm sure, over the years. Did you ever get a sense of how many people harvested versus saved, and was there any sort of data. I mean, this is before the days where you get telemetry and data on like what people picked and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, anecdotally, it seems like more people saving little sisters. Although, I have a few friends that are. I just harvested every single one. I wanted to see what happened. So I don't know if that was more, the game developer in them trying to see, what would happen. But certainly for the most part, I think most people, which I guess is a good thing. It means that maybe people are good at heart. They kind of feel bad. They want they want to save the little sisters. So yeah, I'll say it. The needle sways towards the green there.
Time for bed-bye, Mr. B. Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles!
Maybe one or two more. Reality check for little games. Let's do games.
Rapture is overflowing with memorable locations and set pieces. In developing a world that feels organic, lived in, and functional, Irrational managed to create a space that feels perfectly suited to the story and action that takes place in it, which begs a question: did the plot shape the location, or did the plot fit squarely into a world that was already established? Let's talk about some of the areas in Rapture, because it's an amazing place, but also it feels like there's certain areas that are very well designed and that they have, a very certain aesthetic, and the characters in there, it all kind of comes together. Ken, do you have a part of Rapture that resonates the most with you still to this day?
I think the opening is always going to be the most important to me because it's we spent a lot of time there, and it was all for me as a challenge as a narrative guy is sort of how do we set up a very complex series of events and a very complex notion and all this, Andrew, with so much to tell, Big Daddies and Little Sisters and Andrew Ryan and the time period and do that all without cutscenes. And especially, I think the descent to Rapture when you go in the bathysphere, getting that right, getting everything right down to the bathysphere, cresting the hill and seeing the city for the first time. Remember how much we worked on the timing of that, just getting that.
And it took us forever to figure out that we should just put the slide projector covering the window. Again, in hindsight, it seems like such an obvious choice, but we were really trying to figure out, how are we going to tell this story of Ryan and then reveal so you can see the city beyond the hill.
And also we didn't have to show the whole transition going down to the bottom of the ocean because the whole screen was covered.
Spoiler alert.
I think that's the part that will always be near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was Kashmir. Yeah. That was one of the first...
The restaurant at the beginning.
Yeah, the restaurant at the beginning, because it was really like the first art box that we created that was Rapture. I mean, we created spaces before that weren't really hitting the Art Deco look. Scott Sinclair had just started, and he built that, designed and built that statue of the Atlas with the world on his shoulders. That was in the middle of the room.
Yeah, I remember this. Where they had like a Happy New Year to 1959.
Of that space. And once we started putting everything together and getting it into engine and actually walking around it and seeing those giant windows off to the side that just showed the seascape and really drove home the fact that you were underwater. It was the first time really all the elements started to come together.
And we had built a bunch of stuff, and we actually stepped back and said, we have to just get one room right before we go any further, because we weren't getting it right. And so Mauricio did that concept drawing. Yep. We worked really hard on that statue, and that statue, I think, was the first object we really built in the game that was a Bioshock. So we just stayed in that room for like a month until we got it right.
And I think the original concept actually had a tram running through it. So it was like even more complicated, and that was one of those things where we had to keep pulling back to really focus on what the bare essence of that room was.
Were there parts of Rapture that you never were able to realize that you sort of still miss? The zoo. People
we had a zoo
Frolic, right?
that I was excited about. Not everybody was excited about the zoo, but I don't know why I was excited about the zoo, because it would have been a nightmare. We had another area that was prior to Arcadia that was more of a straight up agriculture, forest type of area.
Before we had the bathyspheres, we had a whole sort of subway transport system in Rapture, which we spent a lot of time thinking about, and then just realized that these little submersibles would be a much more realistic and much better solution.
And you were going to be able to move between locations in that subway system?
Yeah, much like the bathrooms, but they were much more integrated throughout the space, and we really want to support them. And we just realized it was not really relevant to what we were doing.
Were there certain locations or areas where you knew a certain narrative point, needed to happen? Like you look at, the reveal of sort of Atlas's true motivations. Like, was that like, oh, we've got to do it this level because it fits the story? Or was it more that you sort of like, you had the game laid out in a certain order and you just layered the story on top of it?
I think the big one I can think of is that you encounter Ryan in his sort of like, that he would live in an area of industry.
Okay.
So he lives in this very industrial area because that's where he would feel most comfortable. And that we wanted his office, his lair to sort of be not in some, residential zone, but where he wants to wake up and smell the grease fires and the machines and the smoke. That's in his lifeblood. Industry is his lifeblood.
But it also had to be very theatrical. Like if you look at it now, it doesn't look like an office. You kind of know it's an office because the story is telling you that.
Set, yeah.
And we had some old technology that was laying around in the game that would control environment settings. So old system that we had would let you do high pressure, low pressure, medium pressure. And those would affect lighting and other like post-process things in the world. And that was a system that was cut, but because the code was in, we were always trying to figure out ways to use it. And one of the ways that we used it was in the Andrew Ryan sequence, because we didn't have a lot of narrative storytelling tools. We were basically switching the atmosphere to get all the lighting changes. So whenever a light changes in that scene, we're telling the game that the atmosphere is changing. And then the preset atmospheres come in and shine the spotlights on them or bring up the house lights when we need them to.
Very, very early on, you could change the pressure in the areas, and that would change how explosions worked and all this stuff like that. And we just couldn't figure out how to make it gettable for the player. We couldn't make it feedback, but we still had all those. That moved a lot of levers in the game, so we still had the system. So we used it for the sort of theatrical cues of the, very theatrical cues of Ryan appearing, the lights going down where you are, and the lights coming up where he is, because the engine didn't have those tools by default.
The assassin has overcome my final defense, and now he's come to murder me. In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? Power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys.
And there was a great sense of sort of artistic progression as you went through the game too, and that each level had its own sort of voice. Was that something that a lot of games as they move further in development, it's like, oh, we sort of ran out of time. We can, it's like we're just going to sort of repeat this and change the color palette. It felt like, for the team, it was very defined from early on that you wanted each sort of level, which they were levels back in the day, to feel distinct.
Yeah, we had sort of experimented with that back on System Shock 2, back when every Doom level looked pretty much like every other Doom level, because they were just sort of working on the same set of assets. We decided with our very rudimentary tools in System Shock 2 that we would progress with color. On every deck would feel different from a color standpoint, even though most of that was lighting, or textures, nothing really more. But we have the tools to actually, sort of theme levels. I think a lot of this goes back to, I think my first memory was actually from when I was 1 year old at the Virtual World Expo.
Remember when you were 1?
Well, I remember being at something at this World's Fair, which I didn't realize, I think was in 1967, when I was 1 year old, a little over 1 year old.
Wow.
And I was on a theme park ride they had and I remember being at this thing where a big bat flies out of this sort of thing and comes up. I don't know why I was 1 year old was on this ride. I'm not sure, sort of a haunted housey kind of ride. And I remember loving it. And I think that stuck with me. So the notion of sort of theme parky themes and settings, and Disney World does a great job with this. You can go to Disney World, they theme areas. So themed areas are something that always resonated with me. And Bioshock sort of always has had this notion of feeling of theme in different areas, much more than the real world has. Like you walk from building to building, most of them you can't really tell them apart. You walk from walk from a floor of an office building to another floor. It's not going to look any different, but we always felt that was really important.
And it was also, if you look at SWAT 4, saw some early experiments with this, especially like the serial killer's house level in SWAT 4, which is probably one of the most dense levels that we ship, but you were trying to tell a specific story with that. And going straight into Bioshock and using the same exact engine that we were using, and we were very comfortable at that point with how the engine worked and how to art up these rooms, gave us a leg up when we sat down and really thought about what stories are we specifically trying to tell. And one of my favorite anecdotes from this time period is with Sander Cohen. I think
That was a
Nate
fun
Wells
level.
and Steven Alexander sat down one night, and they came up with a backstory for every dead body that you find
Really?
in that space, and then they told that story with the props that they could. Even
That's
if it was
crazy.
just like,
That is cool.
this guy
Wow.
crawled 3 feet and then shot himself in the head because he was sad about something. You know, they put those marks in, maybe put a picture next to the guy, and then he shot himself. So they really like did their homework and tried to add, you know, the backstory for everything that you're going to find in that space.
I've got Atlas's goons hitting us non-stop and 2 dead mechanics just this week. We need to control costs. If I wanted to deal with amateurs, I would have stayed on dry land.
That was cool. Yeah. I am gonna end. Tomorrow, I don't know if this will be like a short daytime stream or kind of like this. I'll start a little bit earlier and probably end a little bit earlier tomorrow, but then, yeah, Saturday and Sunday, normal schedule. Maybe Bioshock 2 come out this week. Maybe. A little bit of Windrose, a little bit of, you know, Heroes My Magic. I really did want to start Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag before the remaster comes out, which is right around the corner. We'll see about that. Yeah, this game was definitely worth playing through. Yeah, glad I went down this road. Bioshock 2, I'm tempted to play Bioshock 3. Never played before, so that's exciting. Excuse me, because it's also, yeah, I mean, it's in the sky, it's a totally different environment. Bioshock 2 I played before and I beat it. I don't know much of the story, but I remember you're a Big Daddy. Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Well, like I said, tomorrow it's up near when, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, normal times.